Welcome to Love in Life, a guide to a positive mindset. I'm your host, Lisa. I'm a mindset and energy coach, and each week you'll discover mindset shifts, energy practices, and real life tools to help you feel more confident, calm, and in flow, because you deserve to love the life you're creating. I'm so glad you're here with me. Let's get going on today's episode. Welcome back to Love in Life. Have you ever had that moment where someone says, "We never see you anymore," and instantly you feel guilty? And it makes you want to scream because you're not sitting around doing nothing. You're juggling work, kids, relationships, trying to look after your health, maybe squeezing in a bit of exercise, maybe trying to build something for yourself. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, you are also supposed to maintain friendships, see family, and still have a bit of space to breathe. And at some point it can start to feel like everyone wants a piece of you and you're the one person who's slowly running out of time and energy. If you resonate with that, this episode is for you, so keep on listening. Before we get into all of that, I just want to say a massive thank you for all of your support on 150 episodes. I actually thought that was going to be quite an easy thing to do last week, like go through the top 5 episodes and, just pull out the best bits of each one. But I obviously had to listen to each of those episodes. And I used to waffle on quite a bit in the first ones. So I did listen to them on like 1.5 speed, which is quite funny. But I did really enjoy going over all of those episodes. And it was like quite reminiscent. And as I said at the end of last week's episode, it was really nice to see that my message hasn't really changed. Yes, I've evolved. Yes, I've developed, thank God. But my values, my ethos is still the same. So let's have a quick look and see where the most amount of downloads was last week. So thanks again to my Bristol gang. Bristol was the highest amount of downloads, but it was closely followed by Portland in Oregon. We also had Denver in Colorado, Houston in Texas, Chicago, Charlotte, North Carolina. So thank you to all you guys, as always, for listening and for coming back again this week. If you're here again, I really hope you are. If you are in the UK, then you're probably feeling the same as me at the moment. Not right now, but the last few days, it's been sunny. Like, it's almost like clockwork. I know this is such a cliche, isn't it? Talking about the weather. It's what we do. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's been like clockwork. Like January and February have been raining constantly. And now all of a sudden, the weather is just so much brighter, so much nicer. And it's a joy to be spending a little bit of time out in the garden. I even had my lunch out there the other day. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you'll know that I am challenging myself to show up daily at the moment, which is a challenge, let me tell you. But I am doing a little challenge of like loving life deliberately. So every single day I'm finding, like, don't get me wrong, I've got lots of things in my life to be grateful for, but my whole message, my whole brand is about showing people or encouraging people to love their lives. So I'm showing up every day at the moment on Instagram to show how I love my life and to find out how other people, the reasons for other people loving their lives every day. So you will have seen that I've been eating my lunch out in the garden. I've been a proper little bird watcher in the garden, enjoying the robins and the blue tits. What a time to be alive in the sun, finally. So I'd love you to come and join me. I would love your support with this. So if you see my post, please do engage with it. Please do tell me what reason you've got to love your life today. And because the whole point of me doing it is to try and grow my Instagram page, which will also then grow the podcast. So yeah, I would truly love your support on that. So please do come over to Instagram and join me. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I asked if there was any questions that people wanted me to answer in the podcast. And I had one in particular that really struck me. And straight away, when I saw it, I was like, there's no way I can answer that quickly in one episode. So I am actually basing this whole podcast episode on that question. So that question, and I will say who it's from because she put it on Instagram, so it's there for everybody to see. So this question was from Kelly. And thank you so much, Kelly. This has really sparked something in me, actually something that I've wanted to talk about for a little while. So this episode is dedicated to you. Oh, all right, Rosie? Rosie's not very well at the moment. We've got some tests going on with her to find out what's going on. So careful. Oh, steady. Anyway, I'll keep you updated with that. Okay, where was I? So this episode is dedicated to Kelly and actually anybody else who resonates with it. So that question was, when you are managing a busy work life, kids, fitness, relationship, and white space to relax, and friends and family are upset with you because they feel like you're not giving them enough of your time, how do you deal with that? Okay, so I kind of want to start by saying this is really common, and I'm sure many of you are probably already resonating with this. Whether you have all of those aspects, whether you are managing work, life, kids, partner, whatever, we all feel the responsibility. Many of us feel that we are constantly disappointing someone. You know, we've talked a lot in the past about people pleasing, the good girl stigma. People need you. Everybody needs you. Work needs you. Kids need you. Partner needs you. Friends want connection. Family want time. You might have elderly parents that you're caring for. Somewhere in that, you're supposed to exercise. You are supposed to grow. You are supposed to be a functioning human. And at some point, it starts to feel like everybody wants a slice of you, but you actually feel like you haven't got anything to give. Now, let's just start off by talking about the realities of modern life. And this is just the way it is. So many women work full time. Many women are the emotional stability of the household. Some of us are parenting. Some of us are maintaining relationships. Some of us have social lives. Some of us are focusing on personal growth. Some of us are focusing on health. And the thing is, there is that invisible pressure to do it all and do it all well. But here is something you need to hear. And I have spoken about this recently, and this is not going to do any harm to say it again, but something will always be left out. Something has to give. Not because you're failing, but because time is limited. Time is not limitless. So this is where we have to look at our energy, okay? Energy management. And this is something that I do feel that I might often need to remind myself, but I do feel like this is the thing that I can really talk about, is energy management. You can technically fill every hour of your diary, but that doesn't mean that you have the energy to show up fully in all of them. And I'm sure you know that feeling, okay? Energy gets drained by work stress, by having to make decisions. It gets drained by emotions. It gets drained by often poor sleep, hormonal shifts, and mental load. The mental load that we are carrying. Our own mental load, and often the mental load of others as well. And because we're women and that's what we do. So when someone says, "Why haven't I seen you lately?" often what they actually mean is, "I miss you." But what your body hears is, "You should be doing more." And we often feel guilt from this. And that guilt just applies more pressure to do everything. And it goes back to that statement at the beginning, we can't do everything. Something has to give. So as well as taking on all of those responsibilities that we do as women, we also have hormones. This is something that is never going to go away. At whatever stage in your life you are, it's never going to go away. And we have to remember that we only have a certain capacity of energy, and that changes throughout the month. So I just want to go into each of the different phases of our cycle and the energy that you will notice in that cycle. We just think that our energy should be the same all the time, but that's not the case. So the first phase that I want to talk about is the follicular phase. And this is just after you've finished bleeding. This is when the egg is developing. This is like the nicest part of our cycle because this is when all of our hormones are the most balanced, and therefore we probably feel the most balanced. This is the time to make the most of that energy. So what happens here, where's my notes gone? So what happens here, you'll feel like you've got more energy. You might feel a little bit more social, and you might have more ideas. So this might be when you see friends, this might be when you plan things, and this might be when you connect more. So connect with people more. Then we've got the ovulation phase. Now, sadly, this is like the shortest part of our cycle, but this is like when we feel the best. Okay, so this is when we are peaking in energy. And the reason that we peak in energy here is because our estrogen levels are particularly high. So in this phase, we're going to feel this is a great time for socializing because we have got the most energy at this time. This is a great time that you might want to host. Again, this is great for connection. So really make sure that you are using these two times, these two parts of the cycle to see friends and to give more of yourself because you're going to have more energy. You are going to feel like you are able to show up more in work. You're going to feel more visible. Okay. Now, then we've got the luteal phase. This is when everything turns to shit. And the reason for this is because progesterone levels are high, and this starts off with estrogen levels being high, and then they really, really dip. So this is when you are going to probably want to make fewer social plans. This is when you are going to feel more quiet in yourself, and you're not going to necessarily feel yourself. You might be better off doing things at home, nesting, time for reflection. Nothing is wrong with you here. Your nervous system and your hormones are shifting. And you probably already know this, whether you've given it thought or not, but this is when, like at the end of the luteal phase, when your estrogen has really dropped and that progesterone is really high, this is when you want to like punch people in the face. And you don't really want to be around anyone. Everyone pisses you off. So it's really not a good idea to make plans then. Okay, and then we've got the menstrual phase. So when we're bleeding. Now, obviously, this is when we feel sensitive. This is when we're going to feel the lowest of energy. This is when we're going to feel emotional. This is not the time to be people pleasing. We want people to please us in this phase, okay? We don't want to be people pleasing. We don't want to be overcommitting, and we do not want to be entertaining. So really bear that in mind when you are making plans of who you're going to see and when. And not only that, like think how much energy that person takes from you as well, because some people naturally take more energy from us than others do. So, really bear that in mind. Obviously, our partners and our kids are never going to go anywhere. Work never goes anywhere, but friends and family can wait during this phase, I guess. This is when you really need to prioritize yourself. Hey, I just want to interrupt this episode very, very quickly. You may have noticed that Love in Life has always been completely ad-free, and I would really love to keep it that way. So instead of adding sponsors and ads, I have set up a super easy way for you to support the show for less than one Starbucks a month. As a thank you, you'll also get my Monday morning pep talk, a short exclusive audio drop every Monday morning to give you a bit of inspiration for the week ahead. Sometimes it will be a little energy reset or a bit of a motivation boost. It's such a small way to give back, but it makes such a difference to me. And it just means that I can keep pouring my heart and soul into this podcast for you. I just want to thank the first of you who have already generously signed up. It means so much. So whether you just want to support the show and thank me, or maybe you want a bit of Monday morning Lisa talk, you can either click on the link in the show notes, or if you listen on Apple, you can simply click on one of the episodes that already has a little padlock on it. Thank you so much. Now let's continue with today's episode. Right, apologies. I had to abandon ship because Rosie has been sick twice since I've been recording. So it's now the following day and I'm carrying on from where I left off. We've gone through the different phases of our monthly, in inverted commas, cycle of energy. Now, I just want to point something out here that's that men live in a hormonal rhythm that resets every 24 hours. We have a rhythm that resets roughly every 28 days, roughly. So just remember that when we are trying to do the same amount as men, or when we are comparing ourselves to men, expecting consistent output and availability all month is unrealistic. And if you are in your late 30s, your 40s or beyond, then you might also be thinking, well, hang on a minute, I'm in perimenopause. Now, let me just remind you that if you still have periods, then you still have a cycle. You still have hormonal patterns. They just might fluctuate a little bit more and be a little bit less predictable. But on top of that, those hormonal cycles that we've already discussed, you might also experience some symptoms that will affect your energy levels and how much you can give to people. So you might experience things like more fatigue. You might be more overwhelmed than you have been before. You might experience brain fog. You might find yourself being more irritable. You might find that you've got reduced social tolerance and that you are more emotionally sensitive. So that on top of the hormonal fluctuations that we've got going on throughout the month anyway, your energy bandwidth is genuinely different. It's not a weakness. It's just your body asking for a different pace. You might be thinking, well, I'm beyond all that. I don't have a monthly cycle anymore. I'm in menopause. I'm post-menopause. But even then, the ovaries, or we produce significantly less estrogen and progesterone once we have finished our fertile years. And those hormones, they don't vanish completely, but they are significantly lower level than during our reproductive years. And the big difference when you are in your menopause years compared to when you're perimenopause. So perimenopause, you've got the hormonal chaos where it's fluctuating. Menopause and postmenopause, it's lower, but it's a little bit more stable hormones. Now, even though those hormones stabilize, the baseline environment in your body is completely different to what it was previously. So those lower estrogen levels can affect your energy levels. It can affect your sleep quality. It can affect your mood regulation. It can affect your stress tolerance. And it can affect your cognitive sharpness. This is what we depend on estrogen for. So if you have less of it, whether you're perimenopausal or menopausal, the estrogen actually plays a massive role in our serotonin levels. So what affects our mood? It plays a massive part in our dopamine. So that's what gives us motivation. And it plays a big role in our brain energy. So when these levels drop, some women notice that they just simply have less bandwidth. For some women, this settling of hormones brings a sense of stability. For others, it can mean that our energy needs protecting a bit more carefully. And the important message across all of this, so whether you are in your reproductive years or your perimenopause, your menopause or postmenopause years, the most important message here is that you recognize your own patterns, your own energy cycles, because we're all different. You have to know your own. So going back to what we were saying earlier, when people want from you and we can't give, the emotional guilt that sometimes comes with that. Some of us will carry guilt because we want to be everything to everyone, because for many of us, that's how we've been for most of our lives. We fear letting people down. We worry that our friendships will fade. But there is a term that, and I learned this from Francesca Amber. If you ever listen to Law of Attraction Changed My Life, she uses this phrase a lot, and I work by this as well. But cyclical living, so knowing your energy levels. Cyclical living doesn't necessarily just account for our hormones. It also accounts for all the different cycles in life. So just remember that relationships, so whether that's friendships, marriages, family relationships, they all have seasons of availability. They all have cycles. So because of the changes that happen in our lives, in our individual cycles, we haven't got a constant stream of energy. So what are some practical ways that we can handle this when we feel like we've got nothing to give people? So I've got 5 things. So number 1 is to communicate honestly. And communicate is something that we always expect and want from other people, but we have to communicate as well. And this is something that I often forget. So instead of just disappearing because you feel guilty, just explain that you are in a really full season of life right now, but you do care about the friendship or whatever relationship we're talking about. Number 2 is to stop over-explaining. You don't need 10 reasons why you can't give something to somebody. A simple, I can't this week, or I can't this month, or whatever it is, but I'd love to soon. And this kind of leads me nicely into my next way to handle it, which is to rotate your energy. Not everyone can get equal time all the time. So obviously you've got people who you have to give your energy to, your partner, your children, your elderly parents, if you are caring for elderly parents. Like, prioritize those people who cannot be without your energy, and then rotate your energy for the different people. So you might not necessarily be able to see a particular friendship group or a particular friend or whoever every month. When you take your energy into consideration, so when we said about our energy cycles, which are based on our hormones, you're going to have those, let's say, 2 weeks out of 4 where you're able to fit those extra things in. Now, depending on what your social life is like, you're not necessarily going to be able to fit those people in every month. So just bear that in mind, rotate your energy and plan. Like, know your rhythm, know your energy levels, and plan for it. Number 4 is to protect your white space. Your white space is essential for your nervous system. It's essential. This white space, self-care, time to yourself, quiet time, whatever you want to call it. This is where you get clarity. This is where you process. This is where you allow your emotions. And when we don't have that, we're likely to burn out. Like, we've all heard that saying, you have to fill up your own cup. I fucking hate that saying, but it kind of makes sense. But you have to fill your own cup before you fill other people's. You can't you can't drink from an empty cup, or whatever the bloody saying is. But it is true. Your time, your self-care, time for yourself is non-negotiable. So make sure you plan that in too. And then number 5 is remembering that quality is better than frequency. So one really meaningful catch up every couple of months can be more nourishing than a couple of rushed coffees where you cram your time in, you're watching the clock because you've scheduled in other people, you've scheduled in other things. I know I prefer quality over quantity, but again, we're all different. So if you're the kind of person that prefers quick catch-ups over longer quality periods of time, then go with that. You, again, going back to, you have to know your own energy, what works best for you. So just to draw this all together, just remember that you're not responsible for meeting everyone's expectations all the time. You are responsible for managing your own energy in a way that allows you to live a healthy life. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to honour your own capacity. Life moves in seasons. There are going to be seasons where you have more to give, and there are going to be seasons where you need to pull inward. And I think the strongest point to remember is communication. If people know how you feel, they can understand you. And if they don't understand you, that's a different question. Why don't they understand you? The people who truly love you will understand that. Okay, I really hope that has helped whatever season you're in your life. It's not easy being a woman. We all know that. Make it easier for yourself. Okay, if you have had a conversation with a friend recently who is really feeling this pull of wanting to give her energy but not being able to, I'd love you to share this with them. I feel like it sounds so obvious, but it doesn't always feel obvious when you are feeling that pull. Sometimes you just need somebody else to point it out to you. So please do share it with anyone you feel that would benefit from this. And come on over to my Facebook group where we're going to carry on this conversation. So yeah, if this has made you feel a little less alone, because I promise you, we all feel the same. If it's made you feel a little less alone in the struggle, then remember to share it and remember to come on over to the Facebook group. And just to finish, also come over to my Instagram page where we are deliberately loving life. I'd love your support. I would love to see the ways that you deliberately love your life. Other people might benefit from what you can give. So come and join me. Okay, thank you as always. Have an amazing week, and I will speak to you again next week. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could take a moment to subscribe, rate, and if you're listening on Apple, as 95% of you do, review. It really helps the podcast reach more people who are ready to shift their mindset and raise their vibration. And if you know someone who would benefit from today's episode, feel free to share it with them. Until next time, keep loving life and know that I'm sending you so much love.